Coming up, the Kidderminster man arrested in connection with a drugs investigation in Australia.
How horses are helping in the treatment of an autistic child.
How many have we done?
And mum's not welcome. The Miss England candidate rejected because she has a daughter. Coming up, arrested in Australia. The Kidderminster man accused of involvement in a drugs ring. Details next.
Catch up with all the stories from around the country and around the rest of the world in 30 minutes. Now it's Tuesday's ITV News.
Hello and welcome to ITV News Central. On the programme tonight, a man is arrested as part of an investigation into drug smuggling to Australia.
No mums allowed. The Miss England candidate rejected because she has a daughter.
Experts warn patient care could be affected after a drop in district nurses.
The horses changing an autistic boy's life.
And whatever floats your boat. With the Birmingham tunnels closed, this man is using the city's canals to get to work. Good evening. A man from Kidderminster in Worcestershire has been arrested as part of an international police investigation into drug smuggling into Australia by a motorcycle gang.
In total, amphetamines with a street value of £11 million have been seized by officers in Australia who have been working with West Mercia Police. 5 other men have also been arrested. James Clark has our top story tonight.
This footage shows the moment Australian police moved in on a caravan park in Carrara in Queensland yesterday afternoon. A short time later, officers found what they'd come looking for. In total, 8 kilograms of amphetamines allegedly imported from the UK were seized there and in Tasmania, with a street value of around £11 million.
This is a significant seizure because of the quantities, but it's not uncommon to get small amounts.
A man from Kidderminster is among 6 people who've been arrested as part of the investigation into the importation of illegal drugs halfway round the world. The 27-year-old has since been released on police bail pending further inquiries.
This is one of a number of investigations that we've had that have had international links, and it just shows that even cross-border crime, we will get to the bottom of it, whether it's people based in the UK exporting drugs or people overseas bringing drugs into the UK.
4 of the other 5 men arrested are members of the Rebels Motorcycle Club in Australia. Australian media say one of the men faces a bail application next week and another was released on bail. James Clark, ITV News.
Now, they're known as the clipped wing generation, young adults who haven't yet flown the nest and they're still living with their parents. New research out today shows despite having jobs, many young adults simply can't afford to leave home.
The West Midlands is one of the worst affected parts of the country, with well over a quarter of 20 to 34-year-olds still living with their parents. Hotspots include Solihull, Bromsgrove, South Staffordshire and North Warwickshire.
The housing charity Shelter warns it's a growing trend, threatening the independence of young adults. Lauren Hall reports.
She is 32 years old with a successful career in online advertising, describing herself as very independent. Yet Sarah Mann is still living with her parents because she can't afford her own place.
You sort of wonder, why do I get out of bed in the morning? Because I'm not achieving what I want to achieve with my life, and it's depressing.
She is not alone. New figures released today show almost 2 million young working adults are still living at home. That's a quarter of all 20 to 34-year-olds in the country. Despite having jobs, nearly half say they simply can't move out because they can't afford to rent or buy their own home. The housing charity Shelter says it's a real cause for concern.
What we found is that the message for today's young people is work hard, save up, but you're still going to be living like a teenager into your 30s. It's just not good enough. And it's the root of it, it's about successive governments' failure to build affordable homes for the next generation.
The government says it's doing what it can and is making progress, but agrees there's more to do.
It is a long-term problem, but the only way to solve it is to really build more homes, enable more homes to be in the private rental sector, and obviously help people also, not just rent, but to get on the property ladder through the Help to Buy scheme.
For Sarah, it can't come soon enough, a feeling shared by many other young adults.
We're ultimately looking at a population which isn't growing up, which is kind of Peter Pan. It's being forced to be young forever. And at some point, everyone wants to take responsibility for themselves. I don't believe that anyone who gets to their late 20s, early 30s is going, yeah, brilliant, I love living at home.
For many, this Peter Pan existence is a reality, and there's no sign of a fairy tale ending. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
A young woman from Derbyshire who qualified to compete in the Miss England contest has been told she can no longer take part because she's a mother.
23-year-old Danielle Tyler has a 3-year-old daughter, Annalise. She says she was bitterly disappointed to discover the competition has a no-children policy. Jane Hesketh reports.
This is the light of Danielle's life, her 3-year-old daughter Annalise. She looks after her full-time but does some modelling and promotions work at weekends. When she entered the Miss England contest, she never thought being a mum would be an issue.
I was really excited. I've never really done anything like that. Obviously since becoming a mum, I've never even dreamed of doing anything like that. So yeah, I was like over the moon.
But a few weeks later, Danielle was told she didn't qualify anymore because she had a child.
I found out over email. Obviously I wasn't very happy. It really did sadden me to the fact that I am a mum and, you know, I'm not allowed to do that, single or not. I don't think, you know, being a mum should change that.
The organisers of Miss England say the winner takes on a demanding role for a year, involving a lot of travel, which would be unfair on any child. Those rules have never altered, even back as far as the early 60s, when it was then called Miss UK. Danielle feels the rules haven't moved with the times.
I think it is completely outdated, as I say, in this day and age. It is normal for mums to do work and to, you know, I don't know, I just think it's stupid. It's just silly.
Danielle may yet get her moment in the spotlight, though. She's qualified to take part in the Miss Great Britain contest, which takes place on the 7th of August. Jane Hesketh, ITV News.
Well, as you can imagine, there's been a big debate on this on our Facebook page. And we'll start with some of your comments, beginning with Sharon Majek, who says, how ridiculous is this really still going on in this day and age? What would they say, would they say this rather to a man who entered Mr. Universe?
Graham Bacon, he says that competitions of this nature are demeaning to women and should be banned.
Kelly Garcia says, this sounds like the Dark Ages. Why can't you enter a beauty contest if you have kids?
But Gail Dutfield says that with all the travelling they would do, it would be unfair on a child to go without seeing their parent for long periods at a time, and she agrees with the rules.
Well, the last word for now to Thelma Gaylor, who says it's discrimination. If she's beautiful enough to get through, who is anyone to judge because she has a child? She says, let's hope whoever banned her changes their mind and she goes on to win. The debate continues and you can join in by going to facebook.com/ITV Central.
Other news, a number of teachers have been suspended for causing harassment following the so-called Trojan horse allegations into a number of schools in Birmingham. A government inquiry found evidence of an aggressive Islamist agenda at some schools in the city. During question time in the Lords, Education Minister Lord Nash confirmed the suspensions and said they're looking at ways to expand the protection for whistleblowers who are harassed.
We are doing all we can to ensure that this is not happening. Indeed, there are some teachers who we're particularly concerned about who have now been suspended from their jobs, who have themselves been causing harassment. And we are talking to Ofsted about expanding their whistleblowing arrangements for exactly this kind of situation.
The Royal College of Nurses says that district nurses are in danger of becoming extinct by 2025 if more money isn't invested to help people be cared for at home.
The number of district nurses has dropped by more than 40% in the last 10 years, and now some are arguing that our ageing population means being cared for at home should be becoming more important and not less.
Lee Comley has been out with a district nurse from Birmingham.
Hello Joyce, it's Tabitha. Is it okay to come in?
Yeah.
As District Nurse Tabitha Lloyd makes her rounds, she's doing more than just providing one-on-one care. She's a friend that her patients have got to know, someone they can confide in about their health problems and concerns, and someone who can monitor their health with every visit.
Oh, an awful lot, because you have to rely on other people to do everything for you. So I don't bother my family any more than I have to.
It can be a difficult job. Tabitha's expected to be able to work independently and be highly trained on a range of health conditions. The variety of patients she meets means that every day is different.
It's not a day of routine. It's a job that we're all very passionate and enthusiastic about. We're able to go in there and deliver high quality care to patients in their own home and almost become part of their family. We know them for a long time. We're treating them in their lounge, we get to know their families. So I think we're very privileged to have a job like ours.
The number of nurses like Tabitha's gone down by about 47% over the past decade. That's according to the Royal College of Nurses. Some are concerned about the impact this will have on the health service going forward.
This is a population that is growing older with more complex illnesses because we're getting better at managing those illnesses. We need district nurses out there to be able to recognise deterioration quickly, but also have the specialist knowledge to manage conditions in someone's own home.
Primarily, if we can't get a district nurse to visit someone, it's about a patient not receiving care at home or perhaps not receiving the quality of care that they should get. And because we're trying so hard to minimise the risk of readmitting patients to hospital because of the cost, we need district nurses to be working with patients at home to support them to deliver medical care so that we can minimise the risk of them having to be readmitted.
More specialist nurses and other types of home care is still being provided to make up for this reduction in nurses like Tabitha. But as more of us live for longer and require more sophisticated types of care, the concern is that we'll need more highly skilled district nurses, not less. Lee Comley, ITV News.
Well, a spokesperson for the Department of Health said it is committed to safe staffing levels across the NHS and that the number of community nurses has increased by almost 20% in the last 10 years.
Staffordshire-based JCB has taken one of its biggest orders ever. 1,000 machines worth £35 million will be made in the Midlands for a UK customer. It puts the firm on course for their best year since the recession in 2007.
You're watching ITV News Central. Still to come on the programme. Leading the way, Libby Clegg and her Birmingham-born guide Mikhail Huggins bring home Scotland's first Glasgow 2014 athletics gold.